Hi, I'm Marcia Burgess and this is
Prue Raymond.
And we're both religious education consultants in the RE team.
We're going to be taking you through New Ways
with
Crossways. We're going to start by exploring the purpose of Classroom RE and how it fits within the mission of the Catholic school.
And then we're going to look at some Crossways content. So Prue will take you through the wisdom, skills and disposition strand, and then I'll walk you through an orientation to the curriculum, being the knowledge content and how that's presented and what that means for you as a teacher of RE. And by the very fact of you registering for this particular workshop, it means that you are deeply invested in the students in your class and also deeply invested in high quality teaching and learning in RE.
So we thank you for that, and we're looking forward to having conversations with you in our MS Teams discussions about your insights into how this Crossways curriculum supports that quality teaching and learning in your classroom.
This is not our preferred mode of running a workshop. However, we hope that the online modules that we've created for you are engaging, and it gives you an opportunity to really explore the curriculum so you feel confident in your learning design process for religious education.
So we're going to get stuck into it. There's a lot of work to do, there's some activities, so we hope you enjoy and we look forward to chatting with you in our discussions.
I'll see you soon on the screen.
Let's start by talking about the purpose of classroom religious education.
Religious education can be legitimately used to describe the whole Catholic school experience. However, religious education can also be used to describe the formal curriculum taught in RE lessons. Both work together to serve the mission of the Catholic school. The specific focus of this course, however, is Classroom RE, the development of the knowledge and skills needed to teach quality RE curriculum. However, it is also useful to consider the relationship between faith formation and Classroom RE to both define them and to reflect on how they complement each other. RE is linked to mission of Catholic education. A quick reminder on mission: Pope Paul VI described this in the Vatican II document Educationis Gravissimum, or in English Declaration on Christian Education, as the complete perfection of the human person, the good of earthly society, and the building of a world that is more human. The Congregation for Catholic Education, which is a Vatican committee as such, formed in the 1960s in response to this declaration, said, "The mission of the Church is to evangelize for the interior transformation and renewal of humanity." This transformative mission is the work of the Catholic school as a whole, but it is explicitly expressed and supported by classroom religious education in the following ways: developing and recontextualizing students' knowledge and understandings of Christianity in the light of Jesus and the Gospel, expanding students' spiritual awareness and religious identity in dialogue with others, fostering their capacities and skills of discerning, interpreting, thinking critically, seeking truth and making meaning, and challenging and inspiring their service to others and engagement in the Church and the world, which is the transformative mission. At the core of the Living, Learning, Leading framework is the mission of Catholic schools, reimagined and expressed for our South Australian Catholic schools: thriving people, capable learners, leaders for the world God desires. The key capabilities attempt to map that out. They are part of that broader understanding of religious education, as is the formation experiences expressed in the outer teal rings and indeed in the whole framework. Teachers of Classroom RE, therefore, are important witnesses as well as educators of RE. They have a secular vocation as opposed to a religious vocation of a priest or nun. As a system, we recognise this special vocation and the need for formation to fulfil this role, which is why we require teachers to engage in courses like this one and become accredited to teach in a Catholic school. The RE classroom is a place of encounter and witness where students are invited to experience the Catholic reality within the school through story, symbol, ritual, relationship. If you're a teacher of RE, consider the other ways where students are invited to encounter and witness the story of our Catholic tradition. It is also a place where Catholic and Christian students can connect or reconnect with their faith and their faith communities. Students of other religions or no religious affiliation are also welcome in our Catholic schools and therefore in our RE classrooms. It is hoped that through quality RE curriculum, students of other religions can authentically connect with their own religion, and if they do not express a religious affiliation, they might gain an understanding or appreciation for the important cultural and moral contribution of the Christian tradition in Australian society historically and in contemporary times.
These aims have been drawn out in more detail in the Purpose of RE statement, which has been used to shape the redesigned Crossways. Let's pause the video to read through this excerpt on the screen now and draw out some of the concepts. You'll notice that the student and the learning and faith formation hopes are at the heart of each statement, with a recognition that there is a diversity of students, each with different experiences and self-concepts as a person of faith, a spiritual person, or a non-religious person. Religious education falls under the responsibility of bishops. Our own Crossways curriculum will be officially in draft form until the Archbishop provides his imprimatur. This is due to a recognition that Catholic schools are, like modern society, characterised by a multiplicity of cultures and beliefs, and therefore religious formation in schools must be based on the awareness of the existing pluralism and constantly be able to be meaningful in contemporary society. This scenario is extremely diversified, therefore religion cannot be taught in the same way everywhere. In some situations, religion classes can provide the occasion where the gospel is proclaimed for the first time. In other circumstances, educators will provide students with the opportunity to experience interiority and prayer, prepare for the sacraments, and invite them to engage in youth movements or social service activities. However, there is a national body that oversees Catholic schools, the National Catholic Education Commission. In 2018, they put out a framing paper which expresses a national understanding of RE, both in the classroom and in the school generally.
Many people have been asking, so why is it that we are redesigning the Crossways curriculum? Well, we're redesigning the Crossways curriculum for lots of reasons. And one is that over the past 5 years, the educational landscape and our understanding of pedagogy and our understanding of the science of learning has changed significantly. We have access to so much more information and data and research, which helps us as educators and as leaders in our classrooms understand how to engage our learners. It became clear to us in the RE team that Crossways needed to respond to the changing needs of learners and education. Many schools, and your school might be one of these, are leading their own educational transformation, and we are hoping that the redesigned Crossways will be intuitive for you and your staff to use, no matter what pedagogies or learning styles your school is exploring. Whilst the RE team was developing the redesign of Crossways, we were asking ourselves two very important questions. What is the RE teacher trying to do in religious education classes? And what sort of Crossways would help teachers achieve this? We wanted to know, how can Crossways make visible and foreground what's important for high quality teaching and learning in RE? And we wanted to know what sort of Crossways would really support teachers to design learning in RE, which provides opportunities for students to learn from each other, to understand the Catholic tradition, and to make sense of themselves and make sense of the world around them. When developing the Crossways curriculum, we wanted to have a very solid foundation for the RE curriculum. So we looked at some particular theologies, and the two theologies which have been significant in shaping our pedagogy and shaping our understanding of the redesign of Crossways were a theology of children and childhood and a theology of wisdom. And I'll take you through both of those theologies over the next few slides. I'm really excited to be sharing with you one of the most beautiful papers ever published by Catholic Education South Australia. And it's this stimulus paper called Children Close to the Mystery of God. If ever you were to read a book or an article or some other documentation about children, I would urge you to read this stimulus paper very carefully and read it with an open heart and with a generosity towards our beautiful children. This stimulus paper was produced by Catholic Education as a provocation to all members of our schools and our churches and our families to consider what a theology of childhood actually means for us. In this definition, when we refer to the word child, we mean any person aged between 0 and 18 years. So this paper is a paper for all children in our primary schools and in our secondary schools. And this paper is offered in all of our communities to consider the great gift that children and childhood bring to us in education. Now, the Catholic tradition places the importance of children very close to Jesus. In fact, Jesus prioritises children as an example of how to enter the kingdom of God. But you don't need to hear it from me. Let's listen to beautiful little Charlie as he explains why Jesus placed such importance on children.
Jesus called a young child and said, "This child is the greatest person in heaven." Some people might feel a little bit relieved that the child was chosen. And they could have been a bit surprised. Yes. I felt happy. Very happy. Just because I've been standing next to Jesus.
Now that you have heard from dear little Charlie about how he would feel if he was the one chosen by Jesus to use as an example to enter the kingdom of God, I would like to offer you some key quotes for you to reflect on from the CESA document, Children Close to the Mystery of God. And as each of these quotes comes up, I encourage you to think about the children in your class and to reflect on what teaching RE means for you as a teacher and how each of these quotes is being lived out in the way that you develop relationships with the children in your class, or the way that you offer opportunities for children to learn about themselves or to learn from each other. The second underlying theology, which has been foundational in the Crossways redesign, is an understanding of wisdom. And we refer to wisdom in terms of the Catholic tradition. And one of the best ways to understand what wisdom is through this beautiful quote from Pope Francis, in which he says, "This is wisdom. It is the grace of being able to see everything with the eyes of God. Wisdom is what the Holy Spirit does within us so that we can see everything with God's eyes. This is the gift of wisdom." Pope Francis has picked up this theme of wisdom many other times during many addresses and during many general audiences. Prue will also talk about a theology of wisdom when she shares with you the skills and disposition strand in Crossways, which is called wisdom.
Pause and reflect. What are the pedagogical approaches your school community is enculturating? Here are some pedagogies and learning strategies you may be using in your school as a whole school approach, an approach for a specific learning area, or within your own classroom for one or more subjects. We will explore inquiry learning and conceptual learning more in Module 3. Underpinning all of this is curiosity. When students are curious, they are engaged. They want to explore and notice and follow an unfolding path of learning, to follow what they have noticed and try to play it out. They have questions, they discover new things, make new connections, they reevaluate their understanding in light of these new things and connections. Let's look more deeply at the wisdom, skills and disposition strand now. In this part of Module 1, I will be providing justification for the wisdom strand, explaining its structure, and provide you with an opportunity to begin familiarisation with the language and concepts of this component of the Crossways curriculum. The National Catholic Education Framing Paper highlights the need for the development of skills and dispositions in RE. This is part of a broader international discussion about capabilities as key priorities over and above content knowledge in order to prepare students for future learning, employment, and in our context, for the human flourishing in the model of Christ. The wisdom strand foregrounds skills and dispositions or capabilities in the RE curriculum. In 2018, the OECD published a report which highlights skills, attitudes, and values as part of developing the whole person in order to benefit individuals, communities, and the planet. This correlates strongly with the vision and mission of Catholic schools. There are further connections between the OECD report and the wisdom strand, such as these transformative competencies: creating new value, which is represented in the wisdom strand element of discern and respond in action with ongoing reflection, the OECD transformative competency of reconciling tensions and dilemmas, which is represented in the wisdom strand as attentively listen to and use dialogical skills, and taking responsibility, which is evident in exercise agency with growing wisdom and integrity. And of course, there are strong connections between the wisdom strand and Caesar key capabilities which were launched earlier this year. For example, the wisdom substrand of spiritual and religious self-awareness has a strong correlation with spiritually aware and inspired by faith. Another example, the key capability of moral, compassionate and ecologically aware has strong connections with the discernment and engagement wisdom substrand. The old Crossways also included skills and dispositions, but these weren't forefront. In fact, they were literally at the bottom of the double pages in the existing curriculum documents. The insert here shows the development of different skills and dispositions in stages P to 6. The new Crossways brings the skills and dispositions to the forefront for students and teachers. It focuses on students' development of deep skills, values, attitudes and dispositions, and encourages teachers of RE to reflect on not just what students are learning, but how they are learning and their capability to continue learning. The Wisdom Strand is organised into 4 sub-strands: spiritual and religious self-awareness, dialogue and respect, interpretation and seeking truth, and discernment and engagement. Let's pause the video now to engage in an activity. Stop to hypothesize the elements of each sub-strand. Record 1 skill and 1 disposition for each sub-strand. Locate the Wisdom handout and then look for any correlations with your predictions. Were your hypotheses correct? Can you see some familiar concepts, ideas, skills and dispositions that you anticipated within the elements of each substrand? If you're watching this video with colleagues, take a moment to discuss the similarities and differences in the elements and substrands and your hypotheses. The Wisdom Strand is accompanied by band articulations. There are 4 bands: early years, primary years, middle years and senior years. The purpose of the band articulations is to assist students and teachers to envisage what each skill or disposition looks like at a particular developmental stage. It can also be used to facilitate planning, self-assessment and communicate anticipated student growth. The band articulations were developed in response to the communication by students and teachers in trial schools who wish to understand how each of the elements looked at different developmental stages. The final section of this module is an activity to help familiarise you with the substrands and elements of the Wisdom Strand. Firstly, choose a substrand that interests you. Then, using the Wisdom Band Articulations handout, either skim the 4 elements of your chosen substrand and reflect on the interplay between them, or select one element and scan across the band articulations. Can you see how a child develops in this skill or disposition? Or C, think of a student you teach. Select their band, for example, the student may be in their primary years, and explore the band articulations. Can you see this student reflected here? Note any wonderings, questions or possibilities you notice. And if you're watching this video with your colleagues, take time to discuss. Well, thanks for engaging in Module 1. We hope that it's given you a better understanding of the Wisdom Strand and the purpose of RE.
And that you can see how the theological foundations for Crossways have meant that we've built this curriculum based on what students need and how to engage students deeply in religious education so that they can understand the Catholic tradition, their life and their culture.
Now make sure you fill in the MS forms, recording your reflections and questions and submit that to us, and then move on to Module 2 when you're ready.
Excellent. So as Prue said, please make sure you do fill in those MS forms because that's our record of your attendance at this professional learning workshop, which is online.
Okay, all the best and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.